Hello, this is Scholar Tractor with some math. Today in Algebra 1 we're going to be looking at writing and graphing exponential growth functions. So an exponential function is in the form y equals ab to the x, where a cannot be 0 and b is greater than 0 and b cannot be 1. So basically something that looks like this: y equals 3 times 5 to the x. Something that grows exponentially. An exponential growth is a quantity that increases by the same percent over equal time periods. And then we have this formula, where A is the initial amount, R is the rate at which it grows, and T is how long time it takes. Compound interest. Interest earned on both initial investment and on a previously earned interest. So let's look at these. Example 1, write a rule for a function. So we need to compare what's going on here. So if I look at this, so the x, it's -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. If we look at the y's though, notice that this is being multiplied by 3. And there is a mistake here, because, so my pattern, what I'm trying to say, there's a pattern, is everything is being multiplied by 3 from each step. And then when I get to 8, that doesn't make sense. So this is supposed to be 18. So let's imagine that did say 18, and everything is being multiplied by 3. So that means our b value in this equation that we're creating, so the y equals ab to the x, is 3. So now we need to find a. We're going to choose a point that they gave us, something easy. And I'm going to choose 0, 2. And that's going to be my x and y here. So the equation, y, which is 2, equals a, what we're looking for, b, so a times 3 to the x, which is 0. 3 to the 0th power is 1. So a equals 2. Okay. And then to write our equation, put back a and b into the equation. So 2 times 3 to the x. And that is our equation there. So checkpoint 1, write a rule for the function. So you got to make sure, what's the pattern here? And in this case, I'm multiplying everything by 4. -1 times 4 is -4, times 4 is -16. Okay, so our b value is 4. So we're going to create an equation, y equals a times b to the x. We're going to choose a point. I'm going to choose 0, -1, because that seems to be the easiest. So y, which is -1, equals a, which is what we're looking for, times b, which is 4, to the -1. So from a few sections ago, we figured out that 4 to the -1, so -1 equals 1/4 times a. So a is being multiplied by a fourth, so we're going to divide both sides by a fourth, and we'll get a equals -4. So my equation, y equals -4 times 4 to the x. Example 2. So let's learn how to graph these. Graph the function y equals 2 times 3 to the x. So y equals a times b to the x. Then compare to the graph of y equals 3 to the x. Okay? So they want us to graph two of them. Well, they want us to graph one, but compare it to the other. But I'm going to go ahead and graph both of these. So we're going to look at the graph of y equals 3 to the x. So if I plug in -2, I'll get 3 to the -2, and that's 1 over 3 squared, which is 1 over 9. And then I'll get 1/3. 1, 3 to the first is 3, and 3 squared is 9. Okay, so this one looks like this. So -2 is 1/9. -1 is 1/3. 0 is 1. Oh, why did they do this by 2's? Okay, and 1 is 3. And 2 is 9. So this is what our graph looks like. Okay, so now let's look at this red line here. So we're going to graph the function y equals 2 times 3 to the x. So this is going to be, so I just take 3 to the x, which is 1/9 here, and just multiply it by 2. So I have 2 over 9, 2 over 3, 1 times 2 is 2, 3 times 2 is 6, and 2 times 9 is 18. So 2/9 is a little bit above 1/9. And that's a little bit above that. That's above that. 3, 1 comma 6, and 2 comma 18. So they're pretty closely, they kind of look the same, it's just one's going up faster. So you can say y equals 2 times 3 to the x grows faster than y equals 3 to the x. This is a vertical stretch. All right, let's do another one. So here's x, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Okay, we still have y to the 3x up there in black. Let's go, since we're doing something different, let's go blue. So we're doing, not much difference. So instead of multiplying everything by 2, we're going to multiply our y equals 3 to the x by -2 instead. So I'm going to get negative 2/9, negative 2/3, negative 2, negative 6, and negative 18. Okay, so negative 2/9, negative, oh, come on. Why did they do this? Now they're going by threes. So 0, 2, 1, negative 6, and 2, negative 18. Okay. So this was just flipped over. So the red line was, so this blue line is just the flipped version of the red line. So this would be called a reflection. So what we're trying to say, if A is negative, so going back up here, if A is negative, then it's a reflection over the x-axis. It's a vertical stretch if A is positive, and it's a vertical shrink if A is less than 1 but greater than 0. So otherwise known as like a fraction, like 1/4, 1/5. Alright, you put $250 in a savings account. So this is where a lot of exponential growth can be used, is in banking. Now, banking is a bit more complicated on how they calculate how much interest you get, but this here is a basic way on how to show that. So we have a formula. Y equals A times 1 plus R to the T. So A is our initial amount. So we put $250 in. So that's 250. And then we have an R value, so that's our interest rate. And they'll give it to us in percentage, but we need to change that into a decimal. So you just move the decimal place twice. So 0.04. And then T is usually in years, 10 years. So we have that, and that. So you put $250 in a savings account that earns 4% annual interest compounded yearly. You do not make any deposits or withdrawals. So you put $250 in and you just let it sit. How much will your investment be worth in 10 years? So we're going to use the formula here. Y equals 250 times 1, or times the quantity 1 plus 0.04 to the 10th. And then our calculator, we're going to put this in. So you're going to do 1.04 to the 10th, and then multiply it by 250, and we'll get $370.06. So that $250 with a 4% annual interest, it'll go and become $370.06. So you would have made over $120. But our banks, they don't use that particular interest rate, so maybe your investment pays out this much. But this is just a very basic formula on how this works. It's a bit more complicated, but you'll get that. later in the future. Hopefully this made a little sense, but basically, if you notice that you have points and the pattern is multiplication, that each one is being multiplied by a certain number, then you have an exponential equation here. It looks like that. Y equals AB to the x. This common multiplier is known as our B value. We can use a point in order to find our A value and create our equation. Hopefully this helped you out. Have a good day.